প্রফেসর ব্যানার্জিকে দেখা যাচ্ছে।
যাচ্ছে?
হ্যাঁ, কেমন আছেন? আমি ফোন করার চেষ্টা করছি, পাচ্ছি না।
হ্যাঁ, আমি দেখেছি, কিন্তু গতকাল ব্রডব্যান্ডের অবস্থা খুব খারাপ ছিল আমাদের এখানে।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা।
তার ফলে আমি এমনকি মোবাইল ডেটাটাও একটু সেভ করছিলাম, সেই জন্য অনেকক্ষণ বন্ধ রেখেছিলাম বলে শুনতে পাই।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, যাই হোক, আপনার এরিয়া অফ ডিসকাশনটা এখন কি ওরা শুরু করে দিল নাকি?
না, শুরু করিনি। আমি আমি মূলত একটা জায়গা বলবো, ফিজিক্যাল অ্যাক্টিভিটি সাইডটা আমি খুব বেশি যাব না, আমি ফিজিওলজিক্যাল অ্যাসপেক্টসটা বলবো, আর ডিফারেন্ট টাইপস অফ ফিজিক্যাল অ্যাক্টিভিটিজ এসেনশিয়াল এটা বলবো, বাট হাউ ইট ক্যান হেল্পস দ্যাট ডিটেল আমি যাচ্ছি না।
আচ্ছা,
সেটা যদি তুমি পারো কভার করো।
হ্যাঁ, সেটা আমি কভার করব। আর ওই আপনি ওই কি বলে স্ট্রেস ফিজিওলজি, হ্যাঁ, তারপরে জেনারেল অ্যাডাপ্টেশন সিনড্রোম ইত্যাদি ইত্যাদি গুলো সব কভার করে বলবেন।
ওই মোটামুটি ওগুলো বলে আমি একটু অন্য আসপেক্ট, ওয়েলবিং এন্ড মেন্টাল হেলথ, এটাকেও এর সঙ্গে জড়িয়ে,
ঠিক আছে,
এটা স্ট্রেসফুল লাইফের থেকে মানুষকে হেল্প করে আর কি।
ঠিক আছে।
খবর ভালো তো ওখানে?
হ্যাঁ, এমনি সব ঠিক আছে। এবং ভালো খবর হলো যে আপনাকে অনেক ধন্যবাদ, ওইটা চলে এসছে সার্টিফিকেট।
ও আচ্ছা, বাবা, খুব ভালো।
হ্যাঁ, রিপোর্ট পৌঁছে গেছে, ভালো, সব ঠিক আছে, দুজনেরই পৌঁছেছে।
এখন তোমার ওখানে কটা? 8:30, 9টা এরকম, না একটু বেশি?
আমার এখানে
হ্যাঁ,
আমার এখানে এখন 8:25। ওরা সেশন শুরু করবে কত? 8:30?
7টায় আমাদের এখানে, 7টায়।
আপনাদের 7টা, আমাদের 8:30। কিন্তু আগে ওদের তো জেনারেল জেনারেল তো হবে, ইন্ট্রোডাকশন, মুখ।
হ্যাঁ, ওই 2-1 মিনিটের সেগুলো হবে হয়তো।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা,
2-4 মিনিটের, তারপরেই শুরু হবে।
ঠিক আছে ঠিক আছে। 1 ঘন্টা অতটা সময়, সেইটা ভাবছি।
হ্যাঁ, ওই শুরুটা 1 ঘন্টার হয়তো একটু কমই লাগবে, কারণ শুরুটা তো একটু সময় যাবে, তারপরে আমি মানে বাই 8 ডেফিনেটলি আমি শেষ করে দেবো।
না, আমি বলছি আমার 1 ঘন্টা কি হবে, আপনার কি হবে 1 ঘন্টা একা একা?
অতনু,
হ্যাঁ স্যার,
বলছি অনেকে জয়েন করতে পারছে না, একটুখানি দেখো তো লিঙ্কটা, মানে জয়েন বাটনে গিয়ে ইনভ্যালিড আইডি দেখাচ্ছে, এরকম
হওয়ার তো কথা না। জয়েন বাটন বলতে ওয়েবসাইটে?
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, জয়েন বাটনে গিয়ে অনেকের ইনভ্যালিড আইডি দেখাচ্ছে।
স্যারকে একটু বলুন।
আলোক স্যার নমস্কার।
স্যার, আমাদের প্রিন্সিপাল স্যারকে একটু।
সুদর্শন
হ্যালো
স্যার।
হ্যাঁ, নমস্কার প্রিন্সিপাল সাহেব।
নমস্কার স্যার। আচ্ছা অতনু, ওখানে কেউ যদি অন্য আইডি ব্যবহার করে তাহলে হবে না, আমাদের সিস্টেম সব ঠিক আছে, ওকে। যদি না জয়েন করতে পারে তাকে কমন লিংক দিয়ে দাও, কিন্তু আমাদের লিংক ওকে আছে।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা,
তাহলে অতনু ওনাদের মেলে, পার্টিসিপেন্টদের মেলে একটা লিংক পাঠিয়ে দাও আর কি।
হ্যাঁ, তাহলে সোমনাথ স্যারকে বলতে হবে, সোমনাথ স্যারের কাছে আছে।
ওকে,
লিংক, অতনু লিংকটা তুমি যারা জয়েন করতে পারছে না তাদের সুবিধার জন্য একটুখানি তাদের মেলে, ও আচ্ছা, ওই সোমনাথ রয়ের কাছে আছে। আচ্ছা,
লিংকটাও আছে।
সোমনাথকে একটু বলে দাও, করে দেবে। ততক্ষণে তুমি মানে সূচনাটা করে দাও, স্যারেরা অনেকক্ষণ আছেন। স্যার আপনার ওখানে এখন কটা বাজে? আমার বন্ধু তো শিকাগোতে আছে, ওখানে তো প্রায় 11 ঘন্টার মতো ডিফারেন্স হয়।
আমার এখানে এখন 8:28 সকাল।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, ঠিক।
আপনাদের ওখানে তো 6টা, 7টা, 6:58 নাকি?
হ্যাঁ, এখন 6টা 7টা হতে চললো আর কি।
ওই আমাদেরও 8:30 হতে চললো আর কি।
স্যার মনে হচ্ছে জয়েনিং এ কোনো প্রবলেম হচ্ছে, জয়েন করছে না কেউ।
ওই লিঙ্কটা পাঠিয়ে দিতে বলো, এই যে লিঙ্কটা পাঠিয়ে দিতে বলো আমাদের সোমনাথকে।
আমরা তো এলাম খুব সহজে, কোনো অসুবিধা হলো না।
স্যার আমরা একটা ব্যবস্থাপনা করেছি পুরো ওয়েবসাইটটাতে, সেটা হচ্ছে যে একটা রেজিস্ট্রেশন যেটা করবে তার জন্য একটা রেজিস্ট্রেশন আইডি, ইউনিক আইডি ওনারা পাবেন।
তাই তো হয় সবটাই।
আর সেই ইউনিক আইডি দিয়ে জয়েন করলে পরে আমাদের সার্টিফিকেটটাও অটোমেটিক্যালি ওনারা জেনারেট করতে পারবেন, আর কোনো অসুবিধা নেই। কিন্তু ওই ইউনিক আইডি দিয়ে যদি জয়েন না করেন, বাইরে থেকে যদি জয়েন করেন, তাহলে কম্পিউটারটাকে খুঁজে পাবেন না, ফলে তাকে বলবে ইনভ্যালিড, বা তাকে বলবে যে তিনি পার্টিসিপেট করেননি, এরকম বলবে। আমরা এরকম একটা সিস্টেম জেনারেট করেছি আর কি আমাদের ওয়েবসাইটের যে ডেভেলপার আছে তাকে দিয়ে।
না, মোটামুটি এইভাবেই সবাই চলছে, এটাই স্ট্যান্ডার্ড প্রসেস।
আর আমরা ওই সার্টিফিকেটে ওর যে ইউজার আইডি আছে সেটার একটা আমরা কিউআর কোড লাগিয়ে দিয়েছি ওর অথেন্টিকেশনের জন্য। সোমনাথ
স্যার কোনোভাবে আউট হয়েছেন স্যার।
ওর ফোন করছে হয়তো, সেই জন্য আউট হয়েছে। সোমনাথকে
এই তো জয়েন করছে, আমাকে দেখছি।
আচ্ছা স্যার, এটা কি আমাদের অফিসিয়াল গ্রুপের লিংকটা কি দিয়ে দেবো, ডাইরেক্ট লিংকটা
দিয়ে দাও।
ঠিক আছে।
এই তো আস্তে আস্তে জয়েন করে যাচ্ছেন, এবারে খুব তাড়াতাড়ি জয়েন করছেন দেখছি। আমরা জয়েনিং এর জন্য 15 মিনিট আগে থেকে লিংক করে দিয়েছিলাম যে অন থাকে। সোমনাথ তুমি শুরু করো।
Okay, sir. Let's start. Namaskar. On behalf of Sabang Sajonikanta Mahavidyalaya, I am Somnath Saha, Assistant Professor of Physical Education and the Organizing Secretary of this webinar. Extend warm wishes to distinguished delegates, respected resource person, principal sir, my colleagues and participants. This year, our college has reached in 50 years. During this journey of Golden Jubilee year, our Physical Education Department feels honored to organize such program in its 20 years of academic journey in this college. The theme of this webinar has been carefully chosen: stress and physical activity. The two words have their own culture, language, and custom. When they stand together, we find an ideal solution to the various promotional healthy aspects connected to our everyday living. Therefore, I express my heartfelt thanks to respected principal sir of our college, my co-faculty member, Mr. Subroto Kumar Maiti sir of our department, Dr. Selim Chisti sir, the IQAC coordinator of our college, and the technical support team of our college for their rendering all the help and support from their side. Now, I invite respected chairperson of the webinar and the principal sir of our college, Professor Dr. Kumar sir, to deliver his welcome address to this seminar.
Thank you, Somnath. Thank you, Somnath. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Today's webinar, Managing Stress Through Physical Activity, organized by our department, Physical Education, in collaboration with IQAC. Welcome everybody to this real-time virtual meet on the webinar of Sabong Sajanikanto Mahavidyalaya. I am thankful to all being present here in this webinar from different parts of our country. Nearly 185 participants registered for this webinar. They will join one by one. And I am too much excited and also feel honored to welcome our distinguished speaker and resource person, Professor Aloke Kumar Banerjee, the President, WBCIPE, and former Honorable Vice Chancellor, Kalyani University. Thank you, sir, being consider us and accept our request. Second distinguished speaker, Professor Sudarsan Bhowmick, Professor, Department of Physical Education and Sports Science, Jashore University, Science and Technology, Bangladesh. Now at this time, he is in Texas, USA, and that's why we have to arrange this webinar at this particular time. Sir, I am also expressing my heartfelt welcome to this webinar and trusting over your expressive presentation over the issues. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
In this webinar, I am also welcome to all the participants, nearly 185 joined here from different parts of the country, nearly from every state of India and abroad. This webinar organized by our department, as I am already said, Dr. Somnath Saha, Assistant Professor of Physical Education, and his colleagues. And he chose a very perfect topic, managing stress through physical activity in this time. We are all confined in our home, movement is restricted, and we can't go here and there as usual. Therefore, several problems we feel that will be nicely discussed by our two resource persons from their specific angles from physical education. I am also happy to welcome and like to thanks to our technical expertise of the team to enable all sorts of digital accessibility from digital platforms of webinar to live streaming of the event in YouTube and our dedicated channel, Sabong College. Dr. Selim Sisti, Associate Professor Economics, Coordinator IQAC, he also help us in every angle. Sir, our college is situated very remote and rural areas of Paschim Medinipur, mostly tribal belt, and 22 UE subject and 6 PG courses are running here. Recently, we completed our 50 years journey in January 2020. Now, we are now looking forward. Actually, we are looking forward to establish our research center. And it is, of course, demand of the new education policy. This is the essential criteria of the 4-year degree course. Over 3,800 students are enrolled here. And we are continuously enriching our best and quality education. So we try to give best education for them. In this occasion, I request to the organizing secretary to introduce and request our eminent speaker for their valuable speech. We are excitedly waiting for their valuable speech. At least I would like to request all the participants, please mute your microphone and do not present your screen, because it will create unavoidable disturbances, unwanted disturbances. Thank you, sir. You are most welcome. Somnath, you just request sir, Aloke sir and Sudarsan sir to
Thank you, sir.
present
Thank
their
you,
valuable
Principal Sir of our college, to giving that welcome address to this webinar. Now we go to the technical session of the webinar. For our first resource person is Professor A.K. Banerjee. Before I invite sir, I will say something about him. Professor A.K. Banerjee has 42 years of teaching and research experiences in the field of exercise physiology and sports medicine. And 5 years he served in Vice Chancellor post in the University of Kalyani, West Bengal. He is a legendary Indian personality in the field of physical education and sports science. Lot of students and numerous PhD scholars have come out with his hand and established themselves in different corners in the world. Now I cordially invite sir to share his views and thoughts to this webinar. Sir.
Somnath, please introduce another sir. He is also present here.
Okay, sir. Okay. And our next resource person is Professor Sudarsan Bhowmick. Before I invite sir, I would like to express brief of him. Professor Bhowmick pursued Master of Sports Science in Biomechanics from the country of Germany. He completed sports training course conducted by Soviet coach Anatoly Milinkov. He also expertise in yoga science. He is a legendary face of India in the field of sports biomechanics and sports training. His 50 years of teaching and research journey, he served in Union Christian Training College, Bhowmick, Department of Physical Education, University of Kalyani, Bangladesh Institute of Sports, and he presently posted as Professor of Biomechanics in the Department of Sports Science, Jashore University of Science and Technology, Bangladesh. Lot of students and number of PhD scholars have come out getting close to him and established themselves in the world. Now I cordially invite sir to share his experience and thoughts in this occasion. First I invite Sir Professor A.K. Banerjee to share his views and thoughts to this webinar.
Thank you, Somnath. Very good evening, all of the participants in this webinar. Dr. Sopon Dotto, Principal, Sobong Sajonikanta Mahavidyalaya, the members of the teaching staff, members of the non-teaching staff of the college, and all the participants. I, as a physical educationist, very happy that the college has organized during this pandemic situation a really thought-provoking topic, that is stress management through physical activity. You all know that this time almost everybody is panicked, everybody is anxious, and definitely they are stressed, irrespective of their social status, irrespective of their economic status. All people, celebrities from film star to cricket player, football players, politicians, social scientists, and who not, all are affected. There is no differentiation. That virus has decided that to him everybody is equal. That is a very good thing in the part of the virus, at least. Well, I will share with you my experience, and particularly the stress and how it is managed. And what is actually the stress? Stress is part of our life nowadays, not only in this pandemic situation, but otherwise also. So let me share with you my few slides take few minutes only. See, the topic I have decided: stress management and physical activity. Well, I'll start this program: stress management and physical activity. Now, this is the picture of the virus. I have presented this because this has created stress management and physical activity. Now, this is the picture of the virus. This is a picture of the virus that has created the problem. Problem in the sense, the pandemic. And also, this has created very, very stressful condition to not only those who are suffering, but also those who are protecting themselves. We are within the home. We are not coming out because of this virus. So this is very important at this moment to understand this. Anyhow, let us come to the next slide. See, in the 1800s and early 1900s, infectious diseases such as influenza, tuberculosis, and diphtheria were the leading causes of death. Nowadays, in the 21st century, these have been replaced with the lifestyle diseases such as heart attack, strokes, CVDs, cancer, and diabetes. Infectious diseases caused by invading microorganisms were the leading causes of death a century ago, and chronic diseases caused by a variety of lifestyle and other factors are the leading cause of death today. Particularly, I must mention here that the scientists have identified 4 special diseases that are clearly, they indicated that these are due to hypokinetic conditions. That means the people remain inactive, maintaining a lifestyle which has no scope for physical activity, and therefore these are the common diseases. And particularly these 4 diseases are all diseases relating to heart, right from the coronary heart disease or any problem of the valve disease or whatever may be, the CVD, whatever may be, the heart disease. All diseases relating to blood sugar and rheumatic arthritis. These 3 are main, and recently the scientists have identified the colon cancer is the 4th one. They confirmed as the origin is inactive lifestyle, which they have indicated as hypokinetic disease. Now, why? At present, we live almost a sedentary lives, and the major factors for this is technological changes in the workplace that you all know. I do not want to discuss or elaborate this point. Widespread use of automobiles. Say 50 years back also, people used to either they go by cycle or even walk down 1 kilometer or 2 kilometer, doesn't matter. But now by ₹10, you can hire a Toto, and that means automobiles or any other that type of mobile vans or bus or taxi or whatever may be. But this is not physical activity what the walk or cycling can do. The labor-saving devices in the home. You see in the home, those who are involved in the domestic activities also, there a lot of gadgets have been developed and they are using it. So physical activity, no scope. Sedentary leisure time activities. If you have time, you are just being sitting idle before a TV and you remain a sedentary activity throughout your the leisure time. So this is a very important, and personal variables that make us resist physical activity. There are various forms, various reasons you may show, but basically that we are not involved in physical activity. See, this is, I'm not sure whether this is visible to you. This is just a escalator. So we don't use stairs, and we are using escalators because of we have less time. We are all moving, we are running for the job or the time maintenance that is there. But instead of stair climbing, we are using escalator. So as a consequence, what is happening? If you have leisure time with a remote in your hand before the TV, with a glass of some sort of liquid or whatever may be, then you are spending your time. And what is the result of these gentlemen or such age groups? See, even these young kids, they are also involved with a laptop and doing certain games or whatever maybe they are doing, but this is not active lifestyle. This is the inactive lifestyle or sedentary lifestyle. Now, I'm not sure whether this is clearly visible to you. See, this is a point, neutral point. From this
clearly visible, sir.
Okay, thank you. See, you are in the neutral point. From this neutral point, you have two options. To go to the right side, increasing health via health promotion, that is optimal mental and physical health, and other side is death. No, from neutral point, you have signs of illness, symptoms of illness, disability, and if it is disability, irreversible, the ultimate terminal point is death. On the other hand, if you have optimal mental and physical health, increasing health via health promotion, your risk of disease will be low, intellectual functioning high, physical fitness high, emotional fitness will be high, energy level high, and coping ability. Today we will discuss this aspect, that stress. And the most important aspect for the stress management is coping ability. Stress you cannot avoid from your life, but the ability by which you can adjust yourself, that is more important. From here, we'll just have a glimpse of the certain things or relating to human mind and body. See, we have a hierarchy of needs. You see, in these ladders, you see the first step is survival. You require certain things for your survival: food, air, and then avoidance of pain, sex. Then if you have this survival, then the second ladder is security, safety, security. Then you require certain love, belongingness, closeness. It is followed by esteem of others, and self-esteem, and finally the self-actualization. That is the point where a person pray to achieve that point, that is making maximum use of one's abilities, which we generally call the creative explosion of creative mind. That is, whatever you are, you may be a painter, you may be a singer, you may be a scientist, you may be a writer, you may be a teacher, doesn't matter. Through this creativity, you can reach certain stage, and that is the minimum requirement, the need fulfilling, then you can achieve. But if you are under stress, this is not possible. So next, the health is very important to this stress management and all that. And health is more than just absence of disease. It can be understood only in the context of disease. At any given time, your health exists as a pain point along a broad continuum. See, the optimum health is one side and death is other side, but there may be minor illness. There is a continuum. It's a changing aspects. And then finally, see, if lifespan is around 72 years, if we consider it, then around 10 to 11 years total, a man may be sick, either small or very chronic disease, maybe much more, but it generally 7 to 8 hours, and sometimes it is 10 to 11 hours. Our time is lost for management of the diseases, all that. So this is a process we cannot avoid. It is in life. Health and illness are part of a broad continuum. Health requires balance. Health means different things to different people. Health is holistic, a concept, and health depends on the satisfaction of human need. I've just mentioned about human need. So health is very much related to need, and then health is also related to the stress, which I will come just now. Now, just finally, health is a self-responsibility. It has many aspects: a physical fitness, environmental sensitivity, and stress awareness and management, adequate rest and nutritional awareness. So health is a matter of choice, positive or negative, and not by chance. It is not a government responsibility, it is your own responsibility. And I mean your own responsibility, it means that it is not matter of chance. Because suppose those who are smoker, if they have find some problem with their lung or whatever may be the problem, that is his choice. In this month, during this session in Bengal, if you hilsa fish with the mustard paste is a very good, delicious item. But if you have the gastric problems, and even if you eat it, if you enjoy it, and then the consequence is yours. So that is not by chance, but by choice. And stress awareness and management, that I will come, that is also a self-responsibility, but it is part of health. Now, what is stress? Let us come to the discussion point today. It has long been known the stressful situation called forth various physiological responses. Stress is the perception of that events or circumstance which have challenged or exceeded a person's ability to cope. Illness, traumatic injuries, emotional upset, similarly heavy exercise are stressful. And all stress have similar syndromes. That is a consequence of, if you are exposed to stress, then body will try to adjust itself with some changes in the different organs. Particularly it starts with hypothalamus. I will show you the picture later. The immediate effect, that is adrenal enlargement. Then if the stress persists for some time means not only one day, few days, it may be, then there may be a thymus or lymphatic shrinkage. And if it persists for a longer period of time, bleeding ulcer of the digestive tract is the common sign or symptoms of stress. Now, if you are under stress, you require a stressor. That is any stimulus that directly or indirectly causes the hypothalamus to initiate stress-reducing responses. And if you are attacked by stress, if you are feeling or if you have a conception of this, that I feel uneasy, that is your internal manage with the situation, then the body itself will start adjusting itself so that the reducing responses, either say for example flight or fight response, we are all aware. So these things will come. Anyhow, the body will try to adjust itself to cope with the stress, because you cannot avoid stress from your life. There are different forms of stress that may be discussed, but ultimately the bodily action, this is the happen. See, stress is an internal state, is caused by physical, social, and environmental conditions. They're everything. Say, for example, now everybody from the environmental, that is the coronavirus, we are all under stress. There may be physical accident or injury or many things may be happen. The social, there's a personal relationships or social, due to social stigma. You know, even nowadays, the corona patients are being facing that social stigma, and therefore this life becomes more stressful. And you know, there are few suicide incidents happen by the corona affected persons. Is harmful, uncontrollable, and beyond coping. Sometimes it happens and has physical and emotional effects. That ultimately the stress response may be a physical one and emotional effects, and there may be a lot of influence, lot of change in behavior pattern due to this stressful conditions and can create a positive or negative feelings, and both. Sometimes by under the stress, say for example, few students may be under stress, they are very good in studies. We have seen that some good footballers, good players also, if they are stressed, they play very well. And negative feelings also, that is that those who want to withdraw themselves from the life itself finally goes to depression and maybe suicide, or it's a life which is not wanted, which is different forms of life due to stress and when they cannot be managed. So management of stress is important, because stress is there, you will have to manage it. Now, what actually happened? See, stress affect the hypothalamus and thereby anterior pituitary, and then hormone is released, adrenal cortex, and increase aldosterone secretion, and thereby sodium, water absorption, increase in potassium excretion, increase in blood volume and blood pressure, that I will show later on. But sum total, the various organs, hypothalamus is the perception center that finally send information to the anterior pituitary, and then the kidney, heart, and many other organs, blood pressure, blood volume, all being affected. So stress is not a very welcome product of the society. Stress is a part of our lifestyle, but stress is painful, stress is harmful. So we better to avoid it, but if you cannot avoid it, sometimes it happens, so better you adjust it, you cope with it. Stress and exercise also affect the immune system. And you know, the heavy physical activity affect immune functional dynamics and increase susceptibility to illness, particularly upper respiratory tract infection. Light to moderate exercise positively affect natural immune functions. So stress affect our immune system, and therefore people may be affected by some other disease which is not much related to stress. Say for example, from stress you may be affected by the cold or any virus, maybe, or if your immune system cannot support you, then you may suffer from some other disease also. There are short and long-term stress response. So you see, ST means short-term, and LT I have mentioned here as the long-term. Short-term heart rate increases as a consequence of stress. If you are under stressful conditions, maybe physical, maybe social, maybe emotional, or whatever maybe, then your blood pressure increases. Dilatation of bronchioles, that you require more oxygen. Changes in blood flow to the different parts of the body. And the livers converts glycogen to glucose and then to blood. More glucose will come because of these changes in the adrenal corticoid hormones. Increase in metabolic rate also. And long terms, the proteins and fats are converted to sugar, blood glucose level. And as a consequence, blood glucose level increases. And perhaps many of you have experienced or have heard that suppose there is an accident, and after the accident, the patient is required to be operated upon, but doctors find that the blood sugar level is very high. This is because of that trauma, that stress, the blood sugar, there is no blood sugar earlier, no history of diabetes, but all of a sudden blood sugar goes up. So that is the consequence of stress. Blood pressure and blood volume increases, that is to maintain the abnormal situation within the body. And suppression of immune system, that is, immune system will protect you. There are different, nowadays immune system is very much being discussed in the public media, different forms of media due to COVID. And this immune system, if it is suppressed by the any sort of stress, then you may be suffering from some other disease, and doctors may not even identify what is the reason unless the stress is being coped or stress is being adjusted or managed. So this is very, very important aspect. And I have seen a lot of people that they are suffering from regular bronchial problems or running nose or something else, but originally it is with this stress. So this has been identified that this is related. And retention of sodium and water by kidney, that is also very important, and that also creates some hazards in the kidney. Now, let us come to the stress and its management. As I've mentioned, the stress is the mental and physical response our bodies experience in response to any type of change. You are maintaining absolute normal situation, and there is a change in your response pattern, then under this condition, you may be stressed. Stressor, an event or condition that triggers a stress response. That particular event is responsible for your stress response, because you are under stress because of this stressor. And then if stressor is too much, it comes to strain. The result of the wear and tear of our bodies sustain as we resist or cope with the stresses in our lives. Then that will be strain. And distress condition is called when stress that can have a negative or debilitative effect on health, that you are suffering from many other disease, or even from distress, depression, and many other things may happen. Now, see, this is a picture. The lady is really under stress of too much work. And you know, the different forms of work and different reasons may be for stressful. I know one lady, I knew one lady, one of my students. She was in a college, and she finds that every day she has a problem with the principal. So as if that principal is the stressor and the lady is under stressful condition. It may so happen due to some or other reason there is a conflict between the principal and the teacher. But that is a different issue. But the lady had a very peculiar situation at home also. The husband was not very cooperative. Then the in-law was not very favorable. She had a child. So with the all management of the family, child and all that, then she was almost late in the appearance in this college. And principal asked him to come in time, but the lady asked that I may be given a next period or second period or third period, something like that. That was the reason of conflict. But the lady was under very, very stressful condition because she could not manage all these things. Then, of course, when she understands that this is the reason of my stressful condition, it was managed. Anyhow, that is a separate issue. Now, your stress reactions are as individual as you are, as I have just now mentioned. At the same situation, when the conflicting between principal and the teacher, that situation may not be stressful to a male teacher, maybe to female teacher. So, are individual as you are. But the more stresses in your life and the longer they last, the more likely you are to break down under them. That is most important. So stress is there, you understand the stress, you identify the problem, and then you manage it. You cope with it, you adjust with it. Otherwise, the more likely you are to break down under them. You can't eliminate stress from your life completely. It is just not possible. But you can control your reactions and the effects of stress through your active participation in physical activities. Because as I've mentioned, it cannot, because those who have enough money, she has some stressful condition. There's the management of the finance. Those who have no money, she or he is suffering under stressful condition. Those who are in service, they have some problem. Those who have no service, no job, they are also under stressful condition. Those who are married, they have some problem, some stress. Those who are not married, they have also some stress. Some have stress relating to sexual life also. So there are different forms, but you will have to understand what is your stress and when to adjust it. It is just not possible. So better to manage it through physical activity. stressor can cause chain reactions. It has started with one, then say for example, sometimes it so happen that you are speaking to somebody, so say for example your father or mother, when you were, your age was less than now, say a school boy or a college boy, if he starts with talking father or mother something which he or she wants to hide, that starts a stress, and then he can caught, so therefore he do something else which again further increase your stress. So with one stressor creating new ones, so better be straight. If you want to hide something from your father or mother, if you want to do something which is not ethical, then more and more stressful condition. So it's crucial to control stresses before they can snowball. So one from other, it may goes on, and it may be very large in number, large in proportions. So this is just a bodily, how it functions. See, life events, say for example, environment, social interaction, from this or from body-mind interaction with somebody else, you got your perception or your, that is stresses. You are under stress when your subconscious level, they apprise something wrong. Your perception, your feeling, your emotion, your all body defenses, they are from these stressful conditions are being affected. So your body starts preparing for action. That is the adaptability. That is the coping ability. So there will be reactivity. If you can, well, if you cannot, then you will have to suffer. So as a consequence, if the stress is more very strong and it lasts for a long period, ultimately maybe from disease or maybe from some other reason, the death may be quicker in that cases. But there is a scope for treatment also. This is nowadays a very, I should say, the physiological and psychophysiological. So now there are a lot of scope and treatment are possible. What happens actually? See, if you follow this graph, at the base level, that is called homeostasis. The graph is a straight line. All systems reacting to everyday stressors in a balanced and helpful manner. There is no problem. But then alarm, perception of stressor, slight drop in homeostasis as the mind and body temporarily lose balance. So first, the effect homeostasis, it will go down, and then resistance comes. Body adaptation resources are mobilized to combat stresses. Endocrine system, as I've just mentioned, comes into operation. And then exhaustion, adaptation energy stores depleted, replenish, and body will return to homeostatic state. Then adaptation energy stores body, that as I mentioned, that glycogen to glucose, it will come. So the more ATP, more energy now will be available. And finally, it will be able to reach the homeostasis level where you were. Now, the graph has increased, but ultimately it has come to the level where you have started, you have managed, you have adapted, you coped with the stress. But if stressor is too traumatic, maybe injury or illness, or if stressor causes wear and tear on the body over a long period of time without balanced management, then it may so happen that the death is inevitable. This is called the alarm reactions. And one more thing, just from this slide, you see the right side, type A type human being, super student, very good student, slave to clock, they maintain very time, papers piled high, excellent grades, they are good, big officials, maybe big any academic or any other field, they are very high up, but they are slave on the time-bound program and too much work, so they are under stressful condition. On the contrary, the left side, very lazy fellow and don't bother or don't care, carefree type. So this is not also wanted because they cannot get success in life. So this pure type A or pure type 2, left hand and right hand are not wanted. A balance required. You have required play, relaxation, and work responsibility together so that you can proceed further. Loneliness is a major source of stress, especially among the elderly. And then Kalyani Township, I have experienced a lot of such people. They don't have any scarcity of money. Lot of money they have because their sons or daughters, they are in USA or in any European country, lot of money, but nobody is there to look after them. They have paid, they have many helping hands, no doubt, but alone. In the family, they are alone. So this is a very stressful condition. Now, emotion and stress. Stressful conditions have an emotion, in traditionally in India or in Bengali culture, the earlier days, not now, earlier, the ladies do not open their mouth, even under very stressful conditions. I know one lady, when I asked, how do you manage all such situations? She replied that I go to bathroom, start, open a tap, water is coming out, there is a sound, and in that time she start scolding those who are directly insulted her, maybe in-laws, maybe husband or whatever maybe. So that is a process. But before somebody else, she can't open his mouth. That is her mouth. That is very important. You have something to say, the male or female, doesn't matter. But in a situation, if you keep mum and you are under stress, that is not desirable. So better you open your mouth, you say your opinion, and then come what may, but you are not that way stressful. But in many occasions, it happens that we don't open our mouth and keep under stress. Stress, whether physical or emotional, can cause your immune system to malfunction and increase your chances of developing an immune system disorder. Learn to deal with stress before it deals with you unkindly. Because if you cannot manage stress, then really stress will have far-reaching consequences on your body, on your mind, on your intellectual ability, or whatever may be the capacity you have, all will fail if you cannot manage the stress. So you have to find the reason why you are under stress, and then you manage the stress. You just be responsible on yourself also to understand the stress. Management aspect, I will come further. And maybe Professor Bhowmick will also discuss about this aspect, management aspect. Now, how to manage the stress? Deal with the problem. What is the problem? Why you are under stress? Identify it. Then eliminate it or change your response to it. Suppose somebody is doing something for you by word, by action, and you feel very distressed or you feel that you are under stress. So you change your response. You start ignoring this thing. You don't respond to this. So therefore, you will have to identify the problem and then eliminate it. Otherwise, stress will remain there. Deal with your feelings, identify and express them, that I have just mentioned. Use the available support system. Let your friends, relatives, and professionals help you. That is very important. Somebody must know that what is happening, why you are under stress. Not necessarily always a wife will speak to husband and clear that if it is desirable. If it is for a married person, this is good if they can understand. But sometimes it so happens that you will have to depend on some friends. And if it is beyond their friends or relatives, and there are some professionals require help. And very recently, just on the basis of these discussions, I have some support system. I extended some support system so that one person could manage. So this is important, how to manage the stressful situation, to cope with the situation. Reduce the effects of stress on your body. Take care of your body and control your stress response. If you allow this thing, if you understand the stress, and if you can manage the stress, you cope with the stress, then it's okay. Otherwise, if you allow to remain the stress, it will affect your body. As I have mentioned, the different forms of blood pressure will increase, blood glucose level will be high, your kidney problem will start. So there are a lot of effects on the body unless you manage the stress. Again, I am saying that you cannot avoid stress in your life. Stress is there. Not Corona is a great stress now, but leave aside Corona. But there are many lifestyle problems. The home problem, your workplace problem, or in the social problem. A lot of problem may come, but you will have to manage it. Otherwise, the stress will have a consequence. What matters most is how you see yourself. You may be a cat, doesn't matter. Why the people, if look upon you as a lion, what's harm in it? So better to adjust that way. Many people says, and probably Professor Bhowmick will elaborate this aspect, that meditation is a very good process for the management of stress. I'm not sure how it works, but many people says, and it is also, apart from this meditation, if you can concentrate, that helps your body, no doubt about it. But definitely it has some effect on your body, and this can help you to keep calm. That is very important in your life. At least 1 hour, if you can keep yourself calm. Under a meditation is a technique, is a process, but otherwise also you can keep quite mum for few hours, at least few minutes, 30 minutes or so, and then you will understand many things. And a very important aspect with the stress management, that is a mental health. Health is a dynamic process that, as I've mentioned, and can be viewed as a continuum from illness to wellness. Health is holistic. Health depends on the satisfaction of human needs. And mental health is reflected in the optimal functioning of the mind and emotions, emotional well-being. So there are many aspects, and our time, perhaps not very much time, maybe 10 minutes more I can have. So I will go fast on this. So these are the characteristics of mental health. So as well as a physical health, you require a very important mental health. Self-concept, reality perception, integration, autonomy, environmental mastery, and self-actualization. All this is essential to lead a well-balanced life. So these are the various aspects. What meaning of life, self-respect and love, loving relationship with others, giving to others, regular exercise is a very important aspect of mental health, laughter and touch. Laughter means whenever you find opportunity, you laugh. Not necessarily you are required to go to a laughing club, but in this, when you are viewing a movie or in a WhatsApp message, if you find that you start shouting, you laugh like that. And touch is a very important, I have seen in my life. See, when maybe you are 50 years or you 40 years or you whatever may be your age, after say 5 months, 6 months, when you meet your father or mother, when you touch their feet, and your mother or father, when they put their hands on your head or on shoulder, that is a feeling that not necessary to speak many things, but it pass a message, and that is a very important. So for keep good mental health, rest, recreation, and some wasting time is important. Adda deva. Elements of good mental health, I'm escaping because time is short. Say, you must have some time for gossip, not all necessarily book or files or all that computer and internet access or a computer, WhatsApp, Facebook, all that is there. That must be. But find some friends. You can talk, you can exchange your ideas. And you know, from this adda, from this gossip also, you may create many things that I have seen in my life. I saw many people also from the adda, from the gossip itself, they created many things. Even, you know, many other, I do not want to mention many creators, but they used to have a coffee house at Shei Adda. That is still there. That should be. Your mental health depends on your unique combination of heredity, brain, hormones, stressors, and physical health. To build your self-esteem, it is vital that you balance the positive and negative feelings you have about yourself, accepting occasional bad feelings and promoting good feeling. It will become the masters of stress, that you can manage whatever may be the stress and not its victim. So next, I will just pass on few slides on this style, wellness style, lifestyle. That is very important. If you are under stress, you won't find the wellness in your life. That is most important. What is wellness? Things you need to do to stay healthy. Avoid getting sick. Make wise decisions about your health. Replace bad habits with good ones. And make wellness a way of life. Why it is important issue in your life? A focus on wellness helps you prevent illness and disease, reduce medical bills, feel more energetic, look better, live a longer, happier life. And there are 6 basic requirements for a healthy life. Proper nutrition, and next is regular physical activity. So for stress avoidance, stress management, and for your well-being, for your better life, quality of life, you require physical activity, enough rest, preventive health care, and a positive attitude and sense of balance. So these are almost like that. So avoid tobacco and all that. That is an advice. Then these are the aspects. Sleep, a very important. You create an atmosphere that helps you sleep. That is most important. Watch what you eat and drink before bed. Get treatment for persistent problems. Don't use medicine for sleeping. Then preventive health care, general physical examination, eye care, dental care, hearing care. This regular checkup is necessary. Otherwise, you will have to put on the stressful condition. So you require a balance, attitude and balance. Attitude affects both your physical and emotional health. Maintain a positive attitude. A well-balanced life promotions and promote wellness. Balance work, family, social life, and your individual needs. That should be balanced, and that is required attitude. And if its attitude means wellness, means stressful awareness of stress and management of stress, and physical activity can provide you all this. So avoid smoking, that everybody is well aware of it, so I do not want to get in. Similarly, alcohol and drug, very careful, especially be careful with over-the-counter drugs. That means without prescription, there are a lot of drugs are available. So be careful with over-the-counter drugs and choose not to use illegal drugs. That is very important. Follow doctor's order when taking prescription medications. And stress, share your problems, know your limits. Try to avoid small annoyance in the life, in the family, whatever may be. Identify what caused your stress. Maintain a sense of humor. Plan ahead. Share your problems, as I've mentioned. Know your limits and set boundaries. If you have, if you don't know your limits, and if you put on such more activities, more work, then you will be really under stressful condition. Know what you can control and what you can't. So this don't require elaboration, and I don't have much time now. Set aside time to relax and try to get enough sleep. Depression, that is a very problematic nowadays, and stress and depression, these are related. Reaching wellness through lifestyle management. Examine your current health habits. choose a target behavior, obtain information about your target behavior, find outside help if needed. A healthy life means eat healthy, drink plenty of water, reduce stress. That is very, very important. And you want to have this exercise regularly. Actually, what exercise do? Exercise, if you do it regularly, it releases certain hormonal substance, beta enkephalin. And this has an euphoria effect. That means you will feel that a balanced personality. You don't be anxious too much if you have regular physical activity. And what is that? Bodily movement produced by skeletal muscle that results in an expenditure of energy. And this is followed by physical fitness, a measure of a person's ability to perform physical activities that require endurance, strength, and flexibility. And regular physical activity, a pattern of physical activity is regular if activities are performed in some order. So main thing is that you do certain things, certain activity by which you perspire, your muscles are activated, walking, jogging, running, or cycling, swimming, various forms of physical activity are there, not necessarily high managed or highly organized sports and games you do participate, but throughout your life you can participate certain physical activity that will help you to manage your stress. Physical activity is something you do. Physical fitness is something you acquire, a characteristics or an attribute one can achieve by being physically active, and exercise is structured and tends to have fitness as its goal. So this, I do not want to elaborate now. The more important, exercise may not give one all the desired results, but it plays a very important part in keeping us healthy and active, a contributing factor to a good quality of life. Daily habits of exercise are part of one's lifestyle. An appropriate lifestyle contributes to health and quality of life. It is not important to add years to life, but life to your years. That is more important. Length of life was not as important a criteria of health status as the richness and fullness of life. See, unless a child is being provided such opportunity, how this expression will come? Aggressiveness and also the defense. One is attacking, one is defending. That attitude will develop from the physical activity. And this is not only for the children's or youths. These are for every citizen. This is a photograph of the Boston Marathon. See, a lot of people, you see the age of these people. They do participate in such activity and they are all happy. And at least many people you will find, those who are remain physically active, they can avoid many diseases, and their lifespan is definitely, they may suffer some chronic disease, that is a different issue, or lifestyle disease they can avoid, that is more important. So I will finish with this. Let's be active, everyone, everywhere, every day. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now the question answer session is open. Anybody can answer directly to our resource person, sir. Any questions from the participant side?
Somnath,
Yes,
Somnath, before going to that, ask Mona Lisa that she could sum up some questions that are collected from the chat box, and if it is so, then on behalf of participant, request her to ask questions, or directly participant can also, if they need or they ask some questions, they can just ask or try to say something direct to the our participant.
Well, sir. Mona Lisa, madam, is there any question in chat box?
Yes, there is a question. Nilanjan Guho asked this. Sir, as you mentioned that heavy exercise can cause stress, sometimes practicing or playing football may require heavy exercise. being a coach, how to manage?
No. Will you please repeat the question?
Okay, sir. Sir,
As I understand that
you
those who are
mentioned,
playing football, they are also under stress. Like that?
yeah, yes, and
Yeah.
how to manage that?
So the heavy physical activity is a stressful condition. All sorts of stress, as I've stated, that anxiety, illness, or traumatic injury, and exercise. Exercise is stress, no doubt about it. But that stress, if it is within the conditions, within the limit of the body, then the body adaptation will start. As I've mentioned the graph, the body will start to adapting itself with the stressful condition, and a new pattern and a new behavior pattern will be seen, and so that it can cope with the stress. But for the footballers, if his body is not adapting with the stress, he or she should leave football, because football is a very heavy exercise and they may have certain problems, but also their body functional system, say for example oxygen uptake capacity, say for example their heart, everything will be adapted, will be in a better state of functioning. And our organs are functioning at a normal state, but when they are subjected to functional load, they will perform better. And so that is the adaptation of the footballers or any physical activity, heavy physical activity. But I must mention this thing, that since this is a stressful condition, you must have under total medical care, that the all professional footballers, they are under medical care. And if they are stressful condition, that should be adjusted and they must be get relief from it. Any other question?
Anybody, any question? Can directly ask to our resource person, sir. Okay.
Sir, there is another question in the chat box. Dr. Mosam Mojumdar asked this: how to avoid stress, criticism from close people?
How to avoid stress?
Due to criticism from
Oh,
people.
so that I have mentioned. Somebody is criticizing you, so you just ignore it. If you feel that criticism, you cannot accept criticism, say for example in the family it may happen in your workplace, so you first understand why people are criticizing you. If there is any positive aspect, you change your behavior pattern. That is, the reasons of criticism may be avoided. Or if you feel you are okay, there is no problem in your side, you just ignore. And so unnecessarily you accept. If you accept it, you may be stressful. So better avoid it. Or if it is in the family, you start to negotiate. You try to solve the problem. That is the most important. And for that, you may take help from others also for solving such problems.
Any question, Mona Lisa madam, in chat box?
Yes, Alpona Devnath asked, what about pranayams?
Actually, pranayams is described our next resource person.
That is better. Professor Bhowmick is a specialist and he will be in a better position. So one thing, Somnath, I must mention, when you are mentioning, we are talking about Professor Bhowmick, you have not mentioned about Kalyani University. He has started his career in the Union Christian Training College. He was in Germany. He was later, after retirement, he was in Bangladesh. But around 30 years, or maybe around 30 years, or 25 years or more, he was with Kalyani University.
Yes, sir. I also mentioned that he was in Department of Physical Education in University of Kalyani.
That you have not mentioned, probably. Okay, fine.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. And we extend a really hearty thanks to sir who spared time from his busiest schedule to grace the occasion. His thoughts has enriched our minds and body simultaneously, and hope find you, sir, in future in our college. Thank you once again, sir.
Thank you very much.
স্যার আপনি সময় পেলে স্যার আপনি সময় পেলে অবশ্যই আমাদের কলেজে আসুন। ইউ আর মোস্ট ওয়েলকাম ইন আওয়ার কলেজ স্যার। আফটার লকডাউন ইজ ওভার, প্লিজ কাম।
হ্যাঁ, আমরা তো যাই, আমি প্রফেসর ভৌমিক এরকম অনেক জায়গায় গেছি। ওই আপনার কাছাকাছি পিংলা কলেজে আমরা গেছিলাম একবার।
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, ঠিক তার পাশেই 10-12 কিলোমিটারের মধ্যে আমাদের কলেজ। আসুন একবার স্যার, ভালো লাগবে।
Okay.
ওকে স্যার, থ্যাংক ইউ।
Our next resource person is Professor Sudarsan Bhowmick. Before I invite him, I also introduce before, and some participants are joined our webinar in later. So once again I introduce Professor Sudarsan Bhowmick in brief. Professor Sudarsan Bhowmick pursued Master of Sports Science in Biomechanics from the country of Germany. He completed sports training course conducted by Soviet coach Anatoly Milinkov. He also expertise in yoga science. He is a legendary face of India in the field of sports biomechanics and sports training. His 45 years of teaching and research journey, he served in Union Christian Training College, Bahrampur, Department of Physical Education, University of Kalyani, Bangladesh Institute of Sports, and he presently posted as Professor of Biomechanics in the Department of Sports Science, Jashore University of Science and Technology, Bangladesh. Lot of students and number of PhD scholars have come out getting close to him and established themselves in the world. So now I cordially invite sir to share his experience and thoughts in this occasion. Hello.
Sir, hello sir, please unmute your microphone, sir. Professor Sudarsan sir.
আনমিউট করতে হবে।
অতনু স্যার,
Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, now.
yes sir,
Okay.
yes sir, yes sir.
Honorable Principal Sobong Sajonikanto Mohabiddyalaya, members of the faculty, technical experts, members of the organizing committee, and participating delegates, a very good evening. At the outset, I sincerely appreciate the endeavor put by the institution to organize this international web seminar during this pandemic situation. And I extend my thanks to the members of the organizing committee for inviting me as a speaker for this seminar and providing me the opportunity to share my views on some selected topics. Now, I welcome you all to the topic. This is the managing stress through physical activity. Now, for discussing managing techniques, it is better to have the basic idea about stress. And I am happy that this particular aspect has been very clearly and elaborately discussed by my previous speaker, Dr. Banerjee. Now, stress as a concept or concept in medical physiology was elaborated by Hans Selye in 1936. But long before that, the stress concept was there in the field of physics. In 1658, in Hooke's law, stress concept was there. Now, Hans Selye has mentioned that stress is non-specific response of the body to any demand of change. And as we already have learned from the discussion of Professor Banerjee, we can understand that stress is an outside influence in form of pressure to a system for which the internal equilibrium or homeostasis is broken. And for this, the response is aroused to maintain the stability. Now considering a human body in normal condition, all the systems and organs function in a very rhythmic fashion to maintain the normal living state. But if suddenly some demand is placed on the system, say for example, some movement demand, maybe the person requires to move from ground floor to first floor using stairs, then this physical activity will put some extra demand on the system and the normal functioning will be disturbed. The rate of functioning of all the organs or systems will be enhanced. So this thing, that means the physical activity is the stressor and the process is stress, and the response is called stress response. In greater, you can say, concept, stress includes all these three. That means stressor, outside influence, inside response, and the adaptability, all these things. So now next question is, why do we want to manage stress? That means whether stress is harmful or helpful, or how is stress associated with our living being or with us. If we, these things also has been discussed by Professor Banerjee. Regarding stress, it is to be understood that stress is a natural reaction and we just cannot avoid it. It is not possible to have stress-free life. And historically also, if we see that from primitive, you can say, age, stress was there and human beings used this thing as protective mechanism. Actually, as one English philosopher has mentioned, that life is a self-renewing process through action upon the environment. And continuity of life means continual readaptation of the individual with demand to the environment. That means we live in a particular environment. What is going on in the environment, we have to have information of that and we have to adjust accordingly. And that is the life. It is a continuing process. That is how we live. Now, historically also, this has been as the you can say, protective mechanism for human beings. And secondly, all stresses are not bad. There are good stress and bad stress. The Hans Selye himself has mentioned that there are two types of stress: bad stress or harmful stress he has mentioned as distress, and good stress he has mentioned as eustress. And that is how we, in many occasions, we invite stress. Say, for example, you can say during examination, we invite this academic stress, because we know if we face that stress, that will improve our capacity, academic capacity, and we will do good in the examination. That is why we invite that thing. Similarly, one question was asked also in training. Actually, this Hans Selye stress theory has been applied in training, you can say sports training. It has been considered as load. So load is applied on the body of an athlete to improve his performance ability. But that should be very carefully and scientifically administered. So load also we invite to improve our functional ability in the field of sports and games. So stress are invited in certain cases. But if the repetitive stress or exposure to stress becomes chronic, that leads to long-lasting psychological and physiological health issues. This include cardiovascular disease, diabetes, anxiety, and depression. And that is how, with the change of our living pattern from ancient time to modern time, stress has become one of the most serious health issues of 20th century and 21st century worldwide. According to report, 8.3 million American adults were reported to have experienced serious psychological distress in 2017. So if we have, you can say, if we see some sort of, you can say, research findings, then we will see that stress has been referred to as the silent killer. Especially, it causes heart disease, high blood pressure, chest pain. Stress also accounts for 30% of infertility problems. Stress can cause weight gain. And stress hormone cortisol has been found to cause both the accumulation of abdominal fat and the enlargement of fat cell. That is why it causes this diseased fat in the body. Correlation have been found between stress and the top 6 causes of death: cancer, lung ailment, heart disease, liver cirrhosis, accidents, and suicide. In children, chronic stress has been found to negatively impact their developmental growth because it reduces the growth hormone. And in the event of chronic stress, dominant hormones released into our brain that can impair our brain cells. So that is also bad effect. And stress is also responsible for altering our blood glucose level, which can lead to fatigue. So that is how stress has become a very, you can say, distress for us. That is why we want to manage stress. Now, if we want to manage stress, what is management? Now, management should be understood as applying set of techniques or programs to deal more effectively with stress by analyzing specific stressor and taking positive actions to minimize their effects. That means we have to know which is the stressor, where from the stress is originated, and then we will take some action for nullifying or minimizing that thing. Now, there are 3 types of management techniques that have been, you can say, analyzed or applied so far. One is called action-oriented approach. Other one is emotion-oriented approach, and third one is acceptance-oriented approach. In action-oriented approach, we will do something to nullify the source. Say, for example, if I go out and feel that scorching sun is there, I will use some umbrella to avoid that thing. I will start this thing. If I see that due to the, you can say, television, I cannot read in the room, I will stop the television. That means I have to change the stress situation itself. That is the action-oriented approach. Second was emotion-oriented approach. One question was also asked from this point, that if I am disturbed emotionally from somebody, I will just, you can say, I will not give attention to it. That is emotion-oriented approach. I will just neglect it. But the third one is I will accept the stress and manage it. And that is through the technique of this, you can say, activity. That is what we will discuss today in detail. Now, when we consider that we will use stress through physical activity, we will discuss this thing in step by step. At first, let us see, in general, participation in physical activity, how it can reduce stress. The first point is, when we do exercise, we become lost in motion. That means our mind cannot concentrate in 2 things at a time. So when we are lost in motion, we cannot concentrate the cause of stress. That is why the stress becomes minimized. The body becomes busy and mind will be distracted from worries. That is, stress becomes less. Secondly, stress improves emotional stability by improving self-image, self-esteem, self-confidence. And this is also emotional benefits of exercise, and they help to reduce stress. And third one is participation in physical activities provides recreation. And recreation is very much helpful for reducing stress. Even one great writer, St. Thomas, has written that recreation is needed as leisure time activity to reduce anxiety and stress. And we also can experience that thing, that when we do something very recreating, we do not feel very stressful. And next one is games and sports provide fun and enjoyment, and getting fun and enjoyment definitely reduces the stress situation, or reduces the cortisol level, which is the stress hormone. And that has been specifically mentioned by the American psychiatrist William Frey, who has very clearly indicated that this laughter lowers stress hormone. And he also has mentioned that this laughter also improves our immune system by releasing positive hormones, endorphin. So that is what Dr. Banerjee also has mentioned. And secondly, next point is, when we participate in physical activity, we become strong, we become physically fit, and we remain healthy. That means the other cause, illness or lack of fitness, this sometimes increase stress, and by doing physical activities, we can also have some positive effect from for avoiding stress or lowering stress level. Now, in addition to this general benefits from participating in games and sports or physical activities as such, if we go sports specific, you can say effects, then we will say at first these aerobic activities. That means with lower intensity activity for bit longer duration, at least for 25 to 30 minutes duration, such as walking, jogging, swimming, biking, etc. And these type of activities, they have got tremendous effect on stress reduction. These will bring remarkable changes in our body, metabolism, heart. They improve our functioning of heart and other things. They also help to improve capacity to relax. And main thing is, they stimulate production of endorphin, chemicals in the brain that are the body's natural, you can say, chemicals to reduce stress hormone. Now, if we take the team games, now team game means games may be individual game or team games. So in team games, two teams compete against each other. Now, in team game, when a man participates, he gets opportunity to improve his social qualities, social connectivity. Now, this social connectivity also is required to reduce stress. There are many researches on this. One research says that this aggression and isolation lead to increased level of cortisol, which trigger mental health problems, especially in adolescents. So we should be very careful of our children who go to school-age children. For them, they should be provided the social, you can say, situations for social interaction. Researchers at Johns Hopkins University has indicated that cortisol in adolescents change the expression of genes linked with mental illness. So this is also, they can also, you can say, change the genomic structure. So that is very, you can say, bad thing. So in that case, we have to be very careful about that. So every possibility should be provided to have some sort of team games for the adolescents, especially for all, and specifically for the adolescents. Then let us come to rhythmic activities. Rhythmic activities, it has been proved that many people find rhythmic activities maybe dancing or calisthenics type of activities. And these activities create some sort of, you can say, involvement of the person with the rhythm. And that is why this type of activities has been categorized as the muscular meditation. And with this activity, you can say endorphin secretion becomes more, and the cortisol becomes less, and the anxiety level lowers. Again, for say other type of activities, vigorous activities, say for example boxing, weightlifting, this type of activities, also they reduce anxiety and they spend more calories, and with that it is also helpful. And if we go for stretching type of activities, that also becomes very, you can say, useful to lower the stress. And that is how activity, whether it is, you can say, repetitive, or it is, you can say, single type of activity, whether it is aerobic or anaerobic, participation in activities, they have got specific importance to reduce stress. That is very important. Now, we will go to very specific case. This relaxation of muscles that helps us to, you can say, reduce our stress. There are many techniques like that. One of such technique is progressive muscle relaxation technique. You see, progressive muscle relaxation technique means we have to relax our body, our muscle, because with the anxiety, our muscle becomes tensed. So at first we have to relax our muscles of the body. And for that, what has been prescribed is we will start reducing the muscle tension progressively, starting from, you can say, upper part of our body and downwards. We will contract each muscle group for 20 seconds, and then gradually we will release this thing. This is, you can say, psychologists, they use this technique. Generally, this progressive muscle relaxation technique is performed in a quiet, you can say, place, and that should be not very, you can say, high lighted room. It should be very quiet, calm, and gradually only with instruction of somebody, the people will be there to relax. Say it starts like this. Start relaxation of your forehead, wrinkle your forehead and arch your eyebrows. Hold them for 20 seconds. As much tension you can develop. Then gradually you relax this, and finally forget that portion. Similarly, you come down to eyes, close your eyes tightly, hold, then gradually relax. Then come down to nose, wrinkle your nose and flare your nostrils, hold for some times, then relax. Then do the same thing for tongue, then face, then jaws, gradually neck, back, chest, stomach, buttocks and thighs, arms, forearms and hands, calves, ankles and feet. And gradually the total body becomes relaxed, and completely relaxation helps the person to remove stress. The total routine, it takes about 12 to 15 minutes, and it is a good practice. Even the psychologists or psychiatrists, they also use this technique. Now, what I want to specifically come for discussion is our own practice, yogic practice. Now, it has been accepted worldwide that yoga can help us to reduce stress. Now, yoga means there are many practices. In yoga, generally we have asana, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, and dhyan. related to stress, you can say reduction. We will be discussing this thing one by one. Now, yoga has been originated in India. Every Indians, you can say, have some sort of experience about yoga practice. But still, there are a lot of things to be noted very carefully when we do these things. Especially, say for example, let us take with asana. What is asana? Asana is simply the posture. Posture, what is posture? Orientation of body or body parts. One body part with respect to other in space. Now this posture, the basic purpose of this yogic posture is to imitate some posture of some animals or something. But if we go for practicing this yogic posture, then we will see, we have to keep in mind some things. That yogic posture has a few phases. That means starting position, then from starting to final position, then from final position, we will keep sometimes our body position, you can say final position as it is, and then we will come back to the starting position back. Now, it has got two main phases. One is moving phase or dynamic phase. That means from starting position to final position and coming back from final position to starting position. And two static phase, that is initial stage when we are at Shavasana, and final position when we are keeping that particular posture for some times, maintaining that posture for some times. Now in yoga, practically, the final position is important. Yoga, our text has mentioned that yoga final position should be prajodana shaithillam and ananta samapattivyam. That means in final position, there should not be any effort. That should be effortless. And your mind should be taken out of your body and put into some infinity. Maybe you should think when you are in yoga posture in final stage, you should think some about very infinite things such as ocean, or you can say mountain top, like that thing. That means you should not think about your body. In that respect, yoga is not exercise. There is difference between yoga and exercise, and yoga is called yogic practice because in yoga, final position is important, and in exercise, this dynamic position is important. And in yoga, muscle stretching is important. In exercise, muscle contraction is important. So when we will be doing some yogic practice, we should keep this thing in mind, that we will be emphasizing more on the final posture. We have to maintain final posture, and we will keep our, you can say, concentration from the body out to some external infinity or infinite object. So that is the main thing. And if we consider the starting position, Shavasana also is very much similar to the muscle relaxation technique position. When we instruct the students or the children to go for Shavasana, we tell them repeatedly, relax your feet, forget them. Relax your legs, forget them. Relax your body, forget them. Relax your arms, upper body, forget them. Forget your total body. You just feel as if the body is so heavy that you cannot lift any part of it. So much heavy it is. That means you are relaxing the body. This relaxation is required in asana, not that what is being done today in form of yogic practice, competition or something like that. Very, very difficult postures which require muscle contraction to a very high level. This is not asana. Main purpose of asana is to relax. Main purpose of asana is the stretching, where the main purpose is, you can say, regarding some sort of, you can say, nervous activation, not the body as such. So that is what we should keep in mind when we go for practicing asanas. And if we do that thing, definitely we will get some benefit for, you can say, for minimizing our stress by using asanas. Then come to pranayama. One person was also talking about pranayama. Now, what is pranayama? Pranayam means to control, means control breathing. Now, to control breathing, now what is breathing? Breathing means, you can say, exchange of gasochemical exchange of air. That means we take, inhale, and we exhale. There are two processes, inhalation and exhalation. But if we just look into the process, we will see that in normal breathing pattern, inhalation is very important. Again, when we become stressed, we breathe very forcefully. So taking breathe forcefully, it is not according to yogic practice. Yogic practice just reverses the, you can say, technique. Yogic practice emphasizes more on exhalation. That means take your breath, but consciously and with control, you exhale gradually. And that is why it has been mentioned that in deep breathing, what is important is your exhalation or expiration should be longer than the inspiration. That is a basic requirement. Even in pranayamic breathing also, it is required that the expiration should be longer than the inspiration. And if we make that thing, expiration is longer than the inspiration, definitely we will have this, you can say, relaxation effect, because all this thing will be relaxed. Okay, gradually the heartbeat will be relaxed, blood pressure will come down, everything body will be relaxed gradually. So that is the main thing of pranayamic breathing. So pranayamic breathing, it has also some, you can say, specific instruction. You sit quiet in a comfortable position, maybe in some, you can say, position where you can sit for a longer time. Inhale, breathe briefly. If possible, hold the breath for some time. And finally, exhale or expire the, you can say, air, at least for double duration of your inhalation. So that is the main thing. And if we repeat this thing at least for 5 to 6 times, definitely we will be feeling very relaxed. So that is the technique generally used in pranayamic breathing. Now, this pranayamic breathing has been also prescribed worldwide for, you can say, reduction of, you can say, stress. Now let us come to the next stage of pranayam. You see, if we go into detail of these yogic practices, we will see that there are 8 steps. The first 4 steps are the active steps, and second 4 steps, they are actually not that active. They will, we will do that thing mentally, more mentally than physically. The first is yam, niyam, asana, and pranayam. But after pranayam, when we sit for meditation, actually we talk very frequently about meditation, but meditation is a very higher state. Before meditation, we have to go for other stages. You can say other stages are there, pratyahar and dharana. Then dhyan will come. Dhyan is the meditation stage. Now, what are the differences here? We should understand that thing. Now, if with you can say after pranayam, we go for meditation, you can say pratyahar, means, you see, we have got, you can say, at least 2 dimensions within ourselves. One is physics and one is mind. Now, when we close our eyes, go for pranayamic breathing and sit for pratyahar, our first duty is to think about our body with our mind. That means mind and body we have to take separately. And we, from the mind aspect, we should look into our body and try to relax that body, try to feel that body, where is the tension lies. If possible, relax that thing. That is how we begin. We generally begin this pratyahar. Gradually, we take our mind from the body out. Because if we feel some sort of disturbances in our body, maybe some pain or something that, then it is difficult for us to go for dhyan. It is not possible. So at first you have to take out of your concentration from the body part. So think about your body part at first consciously, and think that every body part is okay. Then gradually take out your mind from your body. Just forget your body. Up to this, you can say, these have been tried also in other countries, this body and mind. Up to this is called auto-regulation through meditation. Even in this country, they are also practicing. They are telling, that is, you can say, Dr. Herbert Benson, he has developed one auto-regulation training through this pranayama or this meditation. He has mentioned, at first select the time and place where you will sit for meditation, then get comfortable. That means there should not be any distraction or some sort of, you can say, uncomfortable situation thinking on the body part. Then try to relax, passive mental attitude. And if it is possible, finally he has told, concentrate on mental device. That means emphasize on some word, just like Om, like that. So if we actually Om, when we can say go for this Om chanting, that time also the main idea is Om chanting is, after taking breath, we chant Om for a longer duration with greater you can say expiration. That is the main idea that is followed everywhere. Now, up to this Western countries, they have practiced that thing, but in India we go much further. That we feel that we have got at least 3 dimensions: body, mind, and spirit. When you go for meditation, then just think about the primary thing, that with mind we will think about our body and take our mind from body out, and then we will start thinking of our mind. Or you can say with mind you are thinking about your mind. That means, is there any cause for distraction that is compelling, or you can say giving you some stress, maybe some anxiety, maybe some sort of mental depression or something? If it is there, concentrate on that and try to psychologically, you can say, relax it. No, that is, I will be able to manage. So subside that thing. Gradually take that conscious mind from your, you can say, active mind itself. And if you can do that thing, it takes a lot of time, lot of practices, maybe months together, even to take the body, to take the mind from, to forget the body itself. It takes months together. Then we come to your body. It also takes a lot of time. But finally, if we can do that thing, then we place our mind to third object. That is our object of interest. Sometimes that third object may be some point within our body or outside of our body. Within our body, maybe some chakras, or outside our body, maybe some picture or something like that. If we can do that thing, that means there are 2 things. One is my consciousness, and other thing is I am concentrating on a particular object. These 2 things, body I have forgotten, mind, my mind, active mind is not there. Now I am thinking only of that particular object, of that particular chakra. If I can continue that thing, after some time, what happens, or after, you can say, long practice, what happens, I can forget myself totally. That time only that thing on which I am concentrating, that remains within me, and that becomes the meditation in real sense. So to go to meditation is you can say Indian concept, and really that is a great thing, but that requires practice, and this practice should be days together, months together, years together. And of course, if we can do that thing, definitely that will help us to reduce our tension, our, you can say, all these things, stress and other things, and we will be able to manage the stress. That is how we generally manage our stress, and that is how we use physical activities and yogic practices for, you can say, managing stress. That is what I wanted to convey you. With this, I close my lecture. If you have got some questions, you can pose it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any question in chat box, Mona Lisa madam?
Yes, sir. First of all, I would take the question of Shumon Panda, who asked, high intensity comparative sports increases stress. How one can control such kind of stress?
You see, that stress management technique is also there in rehabilitation, or after coaching or after practice. There are many, you can say, practices that are prescribed for reducing that stress. Generally, the high intensity matches are not repeated maybe every day. So within this, after one match, before next match, there are some sort of this type of yogic practices, this type of you can say, some sort of lowering down stress mechanism or practices, they are followed generally, and that is why this type of experts are also, you can say, kept in the team of management of high level sports. But generally, I am telling you, yes, you can say physical activity is a stressor. It provides stress, because when we go for physical activity, wherever, whether it is high level or low level, definitely it will disturb our homeostasis, and it will arouse some, you can say, response from our system. So that is actually required sometimes for improvement of our functional efficiency. This, if we go for the load science, or you can say in training science, loading is there. This loading is also based on load, internal load, and adaptation. Now, adaptation means you are improving your capacity to adapt with the greater demand. Now, these things should be improved, and that should be done only by practicing or by facing higher level of load. We just cannot remaining, you can say, motionless. We cannot improve that thing. So that is why in training session, this is practiced, or high level load is administered by the coach in a definite scientific manner, so that the level of fitness or type of fitness is required for high level of competitive sports, that is developed. So this type of fitness actually developed in training, and this development of a high level of this fitness, that requires, of course, this use of some, you can say, stressful situation in form of training load, that is there. But if we consider that high level performers, that means who are playing maybe at international level, that means for them, between two games or between two, you can say, exposure in highly competitive situations, they are to have some sort of, say, muscle relaxation technique, maybe hydrotherapy, or maybe other therapy type of things, so that they can relax. Many ways, many you can say, systems and ways are there nowadays being followed to reduce the stress for this high level performance. Okay.
Yes, Mona Lisa.
Yes, then we take the question of Supriyo Konai. What about Samadhi stage?
Samadhi stage, that's what I'm telling. Samadhi means that this own identity is lost. I cannot, if I am in Samadhi, that means I myself is lost. I only concentrate on what I am thinking. That is the Samadhi stage. Samadhi stage means the person who is in Samadhi, he is not in his body and mind in conscious stage. So he is concentrating on something other thing. That is samadhi. Samadhi is the last stage of the Ashtanga Yoga, and that is generally, you can say, for the purpose of spiritual achievement or something like that is generally done. And in fact, what is Samadhi stage? It is very difficult for us who has not done or who has not achieved Samadhi stage, to be frank. So it is not even possible for us to explain very clearly what is exactly that state. Okay, for we like people who have not yet reached to that particular stage of Samadhi. Okay.
Another question from Ovik Mukhopadhyay asked, what is the role of mudra and kumbhak?
Mudra, the role of mudra is to concentrate. Okay, if we go for, say, meditation, we do use some mudra, and that is only for you can say increasing our concentration to that particular aspect. Say, for example, Gyan mudra or other type of mudra, they are done only for concentration purpose. So that is the main purpose of mudra. And kumbhak purpose, kumbhak may be of two types. One is internal kumbhak, other is external kumbhak. Kumbhak main purpose is to increase your mental strength to face that uncomfortable situation which is going on inside your system. Say, for example, after taking breath, if I do kumbhak, internal kumbhak, that time I am you can say holding the breath. That means the carbon dioxide is there in my air. You can say stomach. You can say lungs that wants to come out, but I am not expiring. So it always sends some signal to our higher brain system. You can say system center. But I still feel that thing, but I want to realize that how far I can control that you can say state. That is how it goes on. And same is the case of external kumbhak. When we, after expiration, if we hold that thing, that time also inside our body system wants some sort of oxygen, but I am not taking that thing. Again, our, you can say, respiratory center, it giving some signals, please have some sort of air through inspiration, but I am not doing that thing. This is a tussle actually that goes on inside the system and with my mind. That is how my mental capacity increases with holding breath. That is how it actually works. Hello? Any question?
Yes, sir. This question is from Nilanjan Guho, who asked that if you mentioned in your talk that stress is good to achieve performance, then how to calculate or measure the limit of positive stress?
Actually, how to actually you see, there are two types of stress. One is eustress, other is distress. Eustress is positive stress. Positive stress means the stress which improves our internal capacity. That is the positive stress. Say, for example, training. Through training, we improve our capacity, maybe in terms of fitness, in terms of skill or something like that. Now, how to measure means the coach, he administers in a very calculated manner what is the present condition of the, you can say, trainee, how much he can take load and what type of improvement he wants, and accordingly the load calculation, the load parameters are there or stress parameters are there, intensity, volume, repetition, density, all these things. So adjusting all these parameters, he finalizes the load and accordingly it is administered. So, and that calculated scientific load produces better results in the individual. That is how it is done.
Yes, another
Hello.
question is there.
Yeah.
Mr. Manos Ranjan Panda asked, duration of time for practicing pranayam for primary student of age 10 to 12 years.
For practicing pranayam, it is better not to go for them for practicing pranayam. Pranayams are of different types. For them, it is better to practice only breathing. You see, breathing, pranayamic breathing has got a specific style. Pranayamic breathing is basically chest breathing. And when we want to relax, we go for abdominal breathing. So when we go for pranayam, we have to contract our abdomen and we have to breathe with our chest. That means using our diaphragm, using our chest box. So for that, these young ones, they should practice only the inspiration and expiration without any kumbhak or retention. And only them, they can go for, you can say, 5 to 6 times at a time, and they can repeat for 3 to 4 times a day. Like that they can, and if at first they should do inhalation and exhalation for same duration, and gradually they should increase the time for exhalation or respiration more than the inspiration. That is how it should be done, so that they can get the rhythm. Actually, this is just reverse process. Naturally, we take more time for inspiration and we do not emphasize much on expiration. But in pranayamic breathing, expiration is emphasized more, not the inspiration. They should be taught these particular things in the beginning, and they should be taken maybe Surya Bhedan or Chandra Bhedan, like this single pranayam. Then afterwards they can be taken for Nadi Shodhan or Anulom Vilom, like this gradually. But at first they should do the pranayamic breathing. Pranayamic breathing means deep breathing, inhalation and exhalation without kumbhak. Actually, pranayam must have kumbhak, but for the young ones, it is better not to use kumbhak for them. That will not be good for them sometimes.
Mona Lisa madam, any question in chat box?
Mona Lisa.
Yes, sir.
Mona Lisa.
Yes, sir.
Mona
Yes,
Lisa.
sir.
Please shorten your questions and one or two more questions asked to Saz. If he allow, then you can go ahead.
Okay, sir. Okay. Sir, should we take Sudarsan, sir?
Yeah, please go on. Take one or two questions.
Okay, sir. Okay, then Alpona Devnath asked about the Rechok and Purok.
Purok and Rechok in Hindi or Bangla, it is inspiration and expiration. Purok means inspiration, Rechok means expiration.
Sir, another only two questions we have taken. One is Mr. Debraj Chakraborty asks, by not doing the cooling down or limbering down after performing an high intensity exercise will harm our blood circulatory and nervous system. Again,
actually,
I repeat that.
Yeah, no, I have understood that thing. That is not directly related to the topic. But anyhow, after completing your exercise, that means the body was in high intensity, you can say, functioning level. And after that, if we suddenly stop, body will gradually come down of its own. But it is better to use limbering down process, that means cooling down process, so that body does not get any, you can say, muscle cramp or this type of sudden, you can say, ailment in the muscle system itself. Otherwise, nervous system and other things, that will not happen much. But main thing is the muscle system. If it puts brakes suddenly, maybe sometimes there may be some problem. That is how it happens. So it is better to have cooling system or limbering down process after completing your exercise, at least for maybe 10-15 minutes, and you follow the gradual work for lower intensity for some times. With some stretching exercise also you can do, and gradually you can stop. That is the you can say scientific process.
Last question, sir. Mr. Nilanjan Go asked, can progressive relaxation techniques be done during cooling down session of football practice?
During cooling down, you can do. Of course, you can do, but this can be, you can say, applied separately in a practical in practical session. Of course, in cooling down system also you can do this thing. After limbering down, if you have got some time, then you can go and can relax something. You can go, no problem.
Okay, sir. One more asked,
Okay.
Obik Mukhopadhyay sir asked one more question, and that is last question in our session. He want to know what is the relation between stress and depression.
Stress produces depression. That is the relationship. Stress is the cause, depression is the effect.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Okay,
And
okay, sir.
as the organizing secretary of this webinar, we extend a really heartfelt thanks to sir who spared this time for this busiest schedule to grace the occasion. His thoughts and has enlightened our mind, spirit, and body togetherly, and hope find you, sir, in future in our college.
Of course, I have idea to go there to see, because that is also my place. I work in a school of that particular area. That is some employee or something like that. Sometimes I used to go to this college type of thing. One of my colleagues were from that place. I still can remember all this place, and moreover, I am from that district only. So I have some attachment with that. Thank you very
Actually,
much.
before I not mention, sir actually born and brought up in undivided Mednipur.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, and we see you in future in our college.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you very much. Okay. Bye.
Now I cordially invite Dr. Selim Chisti sir, the IQAC coordinator of our college and the head of the Department of Economics. Sir, please express your views and observation to the webinar.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Respected principal sir, esteemed speakers, and beloved participants, I am honored for getting an opportunity to deliver vote of thanks in this international webinar organized by the Department of Physical Education of our college. At first, I want to express my very heartfelt thanks to our Honorable President, Sir, Dr. Manush Ranjan Bhuiya, MP Rajya Sabha, who always guides us and helps us a lot for long run and comprehensive development of our college. Today, we are extremely lucky to have with us two distinguished resource persons in this seminar. Professor Aloke Kumar Banerjee, President WBCIPE. He was the former Vice Chancellor of Kalyani University. And also, we are with us Professor Sudarsan Bhowmick, Department of Physical Education and Sports, Jashore University of Science and Technology, Bangladesh. Words are not sufficient to thank them for spending their such valuable times with us for a beneficial cause, for guiding us to manage stress through our physical activities. The lectures delivered by them are very excellent, inspiring, and also informative. We, the participants today, became very much enriched by their precious lectures and also from the answers on the query of the participants. I would like to quote our deep sense of gratitude and appreciation to these two eminent speakers. I would also like to thank all the teaching staffs of the organizing Department of Physical Education, the convener of Seminar Organizing Committee, and also I want to convey my special thanks to the organizing secretary for organizing this type of international seminar within a very short span of time and accomplishing this in a successful manner. To organize such type of seminar, web seminar on e-platform in this too pathetic pandemic period, and to get it done is so tough job. Our technical team of our webinar organizing committee of our college makes this international webinar auspicious with their tremendous job. I would like to thank all the members of this technical team from the core of my heart. I would like to thank the office staffs of our college who has given their constant support and coordination as and when required. I would like to convey my heartfelt thanks to our respected principal sir for his consistent support, guide, and encouragement, and also for his persistent involvement and active effort. I want to express my hearty thanks to all the participants for their lively participations, presence, and contributions, and for making this webinar successful in its true sense. Finally, I once again convey my thanks to our respected principal sir, honorable eminent speakers, and dear participants for making this webinar a successful one. With these few words and hoping for quick recovery from our imprisoned situation arising due to unparalleled COVID-19 pandemic, we move to the end of this today's webinar. Thank you all once again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir, we now over the seminar. Thank you all. I like to inform our participants that they able to download their certificate from our website, just putting their seminar or webinar registrations ID in the download certificate tab. Then it is automatically download system generated form. Thank you all. Alok sir, অবশ্যই আপনি সময় পেলে আমাদের কলেজে আসুন, ভালো লাগবে আপনাকে পেয়ে, তার কারণ আমরা পাচ্ছি না এবং আমাদের এই প্ল্যাটফর্ম আমাদেরকে মিলিয়ে দিল, এত দূরে আছেন অথচ আমরা তাকে একসঙ্গে পেলাম, আপনাকেও পেলাম। এটা বেশ মানে যেমন অভিশাপ আছে কোভিডের, এটা মনে হয় আশীর্বাদ একটা, যে আমরা খুব দূরে থেকেও অনেক কিছু জিনিস করতে পারছি আর কি। ধন্যবাদ স্যার, ধন্যবাদ।